Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Renata and this is Running in Style. In today's video, I will be sharing with you a sort of DIY tutorial type of video. I am going to show you how I created this really beautiful square neckline on the Agnes top from Tilly and the Button. I decided this would be a very nice silhouette for me because I have broad shoulders, and as usual, you guys know I love to showcase that part of my body. It's not too revealing and it is very subtle yet sexy. So my first attack on this project was this white blouse. I'm going to kind of pull it back here so you guys can see it a lot better. It's both a square in the back and in the front. One feature of this that I really like is the mitered corners. The front neckline turned out amazing. It was beautiful. Let me bring it up closer so you guys can see. It lined up so beautifully. I love it. So I'm going to show you guys how I did it. For this one, the only thing that I didn't like about having the back and the front squared was lining up the shoulder was a little tough. It didn't turn out the way I wanted. As you can see from this, that it didn't line up quite accurately, and it could have been my fault, the fabric, my precision was off, who knows. So I opted to make a round neck on the back for this one, and I'll spin her around so you guys can see what the back looks like. Now, if this sort of design looks familiar to you, I decided to try my hand at that square neckline, which was part of the wanted top design. I cannot remember the name of the designer. I believe her name is Vanessa. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. She is a French sewing pattern designer. The link will be in the description to the wanted top, as well as Tilly and the Buttons Agnes, and what else? What else? Probably the fabric or similar to what I use. Now, one thing I liked about the white fabric is that this one had really good recovery, and I think for a square neck where there is so much of your skin showing, you don't want a fabric that is really drapey or will sag. You want something that will stay up, a very structured fabric, something that will hold everything together. So this was a very nice fabric for the project. The red orangish one back here, this is a rayon knit blend I got from Joann's. It's got a really nice tie-dye going on underneath here. So the fabric is two-sided, so you can use it for any side for your project, but I like the design on this one. The thing with this fabric is it's so drapey. When I cut the square on this, I had to like hold my breath because I was like, oh my gosh, is the band really going to work? Is it going to still look decent and not show off too much? Is it going to sag? I wasn't sure how it was going to hold up, but you know, it turned out really fine. It held up good. I can take this off and show you, but maybe when I go through my roundup at the end of the month, I'll show you the inside of that blouse. I did go around the neckline and I added sheer knit. It's a knit-like interfacing, so it still keeps the fluidity of the fabric, but it stabilizes it so it doesn't stretch and not come back. It still moves, but it just doesn't stretch and go all over the place. So that's what I did on the inside of the neckline, and I'll show you later on. But for now, we will jump into the project. I will go through each step, how I drafted the pattern, how I got the neckline, and then how I attached the band. The first thing we want to do is make an exact replica of the Agnes, both front and back. Once that is done, you want to create your square neckline. So the first thing we're going to do is Start at the top of the shoulder where it meets the neck and come down vertically. So we have a vertical line, and then at the point of the center back, you're going to come across horizontally, and where those point meets, we're going to cut that out and set it aside because we don't need it. From that point, once we can see that square visually, you're going to drop the center front down 1 1/4 inches, and at the shoulder we're going to come in 1 1/4 inches. That creates our band, but it's not complete yet. And don't forget to mark your diagonal line, and there it is. Mark the diagonal lines, and that will create our mitered seam once we get to the band. I'm cutting out the excess right now. Bye-bye, we don't need you. And now we have more or less our neck band, but it's not completed at this point. This is what the square neck pattern looks like, and we're going to set that aside. We're going to repeat the same steps for the back. Just so you all know, I wanted to clarify that this pattern modification right now is for the square front and square back modification to the Agnes top, and later on in the video I will show you the scoop back and square front. Now, once both square neck for the front and the back is cut out, we have those templates. The next thing you want to do is add seam allowances. And this is what I did in my process. I created the template and then I added the seam allowance. For me, I did 3/8 seam, and you can do whatever seam you want to. I guess it depends on how wide you would like your band to be, but this is what I did. So let's go ahead and add those allowances. Okay, so right now I'm just showing you what the pattern looks like at present. The pink shows the initial template, the yellow is the template that has the 3/8" seam allowance. Now this here is what your square neckline looks like on the Tilly pattern, and I'm actually laying out our neck band so you can see where it falls and how it looks. Now this one shows you the depth of the seam allowance, and now you can see that mitered corner where it needs to be on your peak over there. And this here is the inner band, and you would lay that on your folded fabric to create the band. But what I'm going to do is just create a template folded so we don't have to fold our fabric, because it got me a little confused because it needed to be on the center fold so the center front, and then still be folded. And I couldn't wrap my mind around it until I realized that I had to create the template with the fold. That way I can lay my pattern on the folded fabric for the center back fold or center front fold. I know it seems like I'm killing the band template, but I wanted to make sure that you guys know and could actually see the steps that I took to get me to the final template. So the yellow one is the template with the seam allowances, and the white is the folded and final template for cutting out your neck band, just so you guys are aware of that. The next band that I'll show you is the rounded back band that will connect to the front square of the pattern, if you decided to just go with a round back versus going with the square back like I did on the white top. So here we are, just cutting out that 1 1/4 inch in, like I did with all the other patterns. That's necessary to drop the center back. And right now I'm just going through the process again of adding the seam allowances on the white poster board so you guys would know the difference. Once that is completed, the tricky part becomes the now part, because you have to figure out in your mind how you're going to create a band and still maintain the Here I'm showing you how I measured the scoop neckline to create the template for the rounded back that connects to the mitered front. Basically, you're going to measure the distance from the center back to the shoulder, add that to your front side template that reaches down, that measures down to the mitered corner, and that will give you your length for the template. Just add that to your front side template, and that's it. We're almost to the end of drafting the pattern. Actually, we are to the end of drafting the pattern, and now I'm cutting out my fabric. I'm going to meet you in the next clip where I will talk to you about putting the band together and attaching it to So if you needed a better visual to figure out how to create that scoop line template for your back, all you have to do is take that corner front and measure the distance. I'm giving you guys quite a bit of visual just because I want to be really thorough with my project and sharing the information. So hopefully this visual can help you identify some steps that I may have missed, but that you can pick up to create your scoop neckline and ensure that your project works for you. Okay, so what you guys just saw there was me sewing the square of the neck, so the neck front to the back band, and this is what it looks like right now. So if I can just fold it, put it on me and show you. So this is the square on the front there. Okay, see it? So this is where the band is going to be. So this is it. Too bad I don't have a remote to move the tripod, but so this is the neck and this is the square here. So this is the front. Just so you guys know, that's what we just completed. We attached the mited corners together. And what I was saying there, which got lost, so this is where the front neckband meets the shoulder. So this here, what you see here, is the front right here, and this portion. You clip as close as you can and you alternate them so that each of the lines join together like that, so it's a nice smooth transition, and you pin it so it just stays together when you're working with the bottom piece or the inner piece, whichever one you want to work with. I just make sure and pin and leave a decent portion open so my pin doesn't get snapped by my machine and have anything flying towards my eyes. Now what's going to happen here is I added 3/8 seam allowance to all my pieces. Everything that I cut off from the Agnes, I added 3/8 inch seam, and that is what we have to do. We have to ensure that when we place them together that we have that 3/8 seams, because this will make everything meet nicely together. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the machine and I'm gonna show you guys that. See you soon. The first thing you're gonna do once your band is completed is work with your shoulders of the front and back to join them. But before you join them, I like to add these stitches here, these reinforcement stitches along the square portion right there. I added a stitch here and a stitch here, just so those corners don't move and that I know where my 3/8 allowances are so I can clip them. So now that we have those, let's go join the shoulder and I will meet you in the next clip. So once you have completed the shoulders, meaning you've attached them together, go ahead and either serge or neaten them up in whatever manner you choose to. The next thing we'll do from here is attach the front neckline, and I will show you how to do that now. So go ahead, grab your band, and then we're going to attach them right sides together. And I will pin and show you how that is done. So this is the front. Give us a little space here. I will go ahead and finish my shoulders later, meaning I'll finish my shoulders once I attach this piece here. So this is what we're going to do. So there you guys have it. You can see the square of the front there. And what we're going to do now is measure 3/8. And I'll show you that there, right here. So this one is going that way. That's 3/8 there, this is 3/8 here. What we're going to do, let's mark my 3/8 here. That's my 3/8 right there. I am going to make sure that meets right there. I hope you guys can see it. I don't have a zoom lens on, but this is where my 3/8 is. And I am going to stick that through here. And pin it right there. That's where that 3/8 is going to meet up. And then we do the same thing on this side over here. I'm going to take those guys out, measure our 3/8 because that is the seam allowance that I added to my pattern when I drafted it. And we're going to mark that 3/8 right there. And we're going to run that pin through it right there. Okay.
Just fried chicken. What?
Make sure everything is lined up right there. Okay. There we go. And if you want, you could put a few extra pins just to ensure that it doesn't move, but it should fit nicely. Let's put a pin there. And this fabric isn't going to show my pins going through because of the design and just the content of the fabric. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to stitch across here and I will meet you in the next section. So right now I'm going to make sure that needle is inserted right at that point of the 3/8, and I'm going to remove my needle, my pin, not my needle, and then I'm going to start sewing all the way across there. So let's go. This is not something you need to rush, just go really slow because we want to make sure we got the exact seam allowance. Just making sure everything is running smoothly there. And everything is lined up, both the bottom fabric as well as the top. Just so I don't go off course, I'm going to put my guide here. And if you feel like you're going off course, like I just felt over there, just lift it up. Go back again. It's a slow process. Precision takes time. Accuracy is necessary with sewing in order for your projects to look professional, ready to wear, well made, fit good, all that great stuff. So far, this is the front of your band. This is the full band opened out, as you can see there. Let's do it like this. This way you guys can see the band from the wrong side and can actually identify the shape. Now, this is what we just sewed over here. We sewed all the way over here, and we had right side facing right side. Now this is the portion that we clipped earlier, and if I flip this over like so, you can see the band take shape. This is that mitered corner, and if we flip that up, there it is, right there. I should have done it with a black band, and then you can see it. Now when I turn this around, what's going to happen is I have to clip in here. Once this is clipped, I will then flip this in such a manner like that. Once this is clipped over here, here we go. So this is the front, and this is where I did the reinforcement stitch. We already stitched the front band, and now we're going to clip here. And you can do this before or after. I think I did one before where I clipped it to this point and then turned it, and then I did it where I turned this and then clipped it. But I think it's way better to clip first and then turn. So once we clip down here, let's see if you can see that. Okay. So once we clip down here, you will then turn the band around like this. So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to clip it, and this is scary because you don't want to mess it up. This is the front. So this is our front. I'm going to clip diagonally here, and it just makes it easier. I know it's scary to do, but it's more or less only fabric. So then you turn it around like so, and you're freaking out because the stitch is too big or the cut is too deep. Don't worry, you gotta go in 3/8 anyway. So you're gonna pin here. Right? We're gonna pin, and then we're gonna sew 3/8 all the way across the back. And make sure when you get to your shoulder seam, I can't even go right now. There we go. Now when you get to your shoulder seams, make sure you turn the seam towards the back so there's not a hump in the front. Just a reminder there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin all of this. So basically what I was saying before was we clipped the corner. We clipped the corner here where we did that reinforcement stitch to allow us to flip the back, to flip the band, not the back, to flip the band where it met in the front, where they both met, so that we can attach it to the back. But my camera is blinking and it's going to shut off on me, so I'll meet you here in a few minutes. Okay, so somebody's staring at me. So the band is completed around the neckline, and now all I'll be doing is serging it or stitching it with a zigzag stitch. If you don't have a serger, that's all you need to do. But for now, the band is complete. You just have to fold it in, so it looks something like this. So, and if you want a better visual of what we had before, so this is what we had before. Do you see those diagonal cuts there? That's from before. And now all we're doing is we're folding it in half. I did not iron mine because I didn't feel the need because of the fabric type. The recovery was strong and it really wouldn't take ironing very well. So all I'm going to do is, like before, flip this cut over, fold it and then pin it and serge it all the way around. And I'll meet you at the end when I complete this, and you guys can take a quick peek at the inside. Now, once that is done, all you have to do now is go right back to following the Agnes pattern instruction to attach the sleeve, finish the hems, and that's really it. So I'll meet you in the next clip. There you have it. I hope this was informative. I really appreciate you guys coming and watching my videos, so I hope this content was very interesting and helpful. Not a pro at doing the DIY, again, I'm saying that, but those are the steps that I use to create the neckline. I hope that you will follow me on social media and share with me your makes if you've attempted it through the process that I did. I would love to see that. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Follow RunningNStyle on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!